I call upon the almighty God of film. Please, hear my prayer. Make sure Disney don't ruin Star Wars. Before this review kicks off, I would just like to say that I am not a Star Wars fan, and I am most certainly not a Han Solo fan, okay? There is no Star Wars stuff in this house. You would struggle to even hear the name Han Solo get mentioned here. This is a Han Solo free zone. Just thought I'd clear the air on that before we begin. Okay, I'm a Star Wars fan, shock and horror, and funnily enough, I liked Solo.
Don't lose your temper.
The general consensus seems to have been that it was fine, and to be honest it does have a lot of flaws, which we'll get to, but I definitely feel as if the good outweighs the bad with this one. The first scene contained probably one of the more obvious flaws, and that is the characters just listing exposition. That is a really, really lazy way of getting the point across, and it did not have me hyped for the rest of the movie, but it improved. I loved the spaceport scene about 5 minutes in. Usually the Empire is shown to be evil by having a super weapon of some description, but this really emphasised what it must be like living under the Galactic Empire for just your average Joe. It must be really, really horrible. Besides, nothing says evil Empire like a strict border policy. The battle scene after that was great as well, and the way he met Chewie. The train chase was a brilliantly directed action scene, and Paul Bettany as the leader of the crime syndicate was amazing. Everyone's talking about Donald Glover, who was brilliant as well. I won't spoil the end of the film, but I really enjoyed that as well. If anything, it was the middle of the film that had me disinterested. There were a few action scenes in there, but none of them were as good as the train sequence. One bit though that was very, very satisfying was when Han Solo's music starts playing. We hear him and Leia's theme, and we hear the asteroid fields theme, and that's just incredibly satisfying hearing those again. The music towards the end of the film was great as well, and that time it was a new score, it was original for the movie, and that really had me sold. One criticism that I keep on hearing for this film is that Han Solo is just too perfect. He succeeds at everything and it never really feels like he's fallen in at the deep end. Yeah, that's a problem. He just waltzes in, does everything perfect and then leaves again. And the few cock-ups that he does make are really, really minor and few and far between, and they get amended instantly. Remember back to Empire Strikes Back, when Han couldn't get the Millennium Falcon working for the entire movie. That is Han Solo. Great, but not perfect. The romance between Han and Daenerys was also a little disinteresting for me. I mean, we all know he gets with Leia, so you spend the entirety of this film just waiting for their relationship to end, because you know it's never referenced in any of the later films. Overall though, I'd say that this film is still definitely worth seeing. So there we are, my first film review. What did you think? Not all of them are going to be like this, some of them are going to be about themes rather than specific movies, but I thought this was a good way to start things off. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, hopefully.